If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. Ha! It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Today I've got Barnaby Anderson over from CleanGold. He's going to explain to us this interesting setup he's got with gold and the blockchain and how you guys can participate in this. I was actually introduced to him by a buddy of mine, and I was glad to have him on. It seems like a very neat idea, so we're gonna get into that right now. Barnaby, how are you, man? Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, mate. Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me. It's the first time we've met. I've been watching it. I've seen some of your videos, and you're teaching people a great message here.
I believe in precious metals. I don't have much anymore. Stopped buying years ago, but
hey, let's talk about that, because I think that most people, they don't have exposure to that. They don't have the precious metals, and I think there's a reason. I think it's kind of seen as too hard. What do you think?
Yeah, and also for me, I'm sure for many of my audience, it's more of if I can't hold it, I don't own it. And so because I don't believe in that philosophy of not having some type of physical connection to it, people sometimes, don't hold as much as they could because of the physical aspect of it, right? Anyone ever picked up a pound of or an ounce of gold is pretty small, but you pick up some higher denominations or whatever of gold, that thing is heavy, man.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing.
Heavy metal.
It's a heavy metal. The other thing is that do people feel comfortable even having it at home? Like there's the whole thing, you want to own it, but then do you want to store it? There's concerns around it.
Absolutely. So how did you get into the whole gold industry, into precious metals? Kind of give us your background before we get into what you're offering over at CleanGold.
Sure thing. Well, I got to say, actually, my background is tech. I've been in e-commerce and tech. Man, I started building out websites and e-commerce solutions in February of '95. That's how I got it.
Wow. Okay.
So I got into tech in '93, and then I moved over into building up websites and e-commerce solutions from then. And so just naturally, my whole interest in the whole e-commerce industry led me to blockchain. And I started researching that back in 2011, obviously with Bitcoin. And then I just pivoted my whole consultancy over from 2016 and just became obsessed with blockchain and crypto. And I was invited to go and speak over at Harvard and Davos in 2018. So that's really been my passion. And inside of that, I was always interested in gold and economics and banking, and basically you could say kind of the concerns around all of that and where that could be going from 99 onwards, 1999, and prior to the last century. I became really interested in the economics of gold and banking, and then naturally that led into crypto and blockchain. But I was really passionate about how do we get more people engaged in and basically bring crypto and blockchain to everybody. But it just became apparent to me that people weren't necessarily seeing the value. They weren't really, the penny wasn't dropping. Like the adoption, the barriers to entry, like we were just saying about gold, I saw that with crypto as well. But I realized that at least everybody, they knew the value proposition of gold. And so it was like, okay, people, what would happen if we actually married those two? What happens if we marry the blockchain with the gold backing? So basically giving people something that they trust, which is the value proposition of gold, with the convenience and the functionality that we have around the whole blockchain and cryptocurrency.
That's interesting that you have that tech background. It makes sense now that you're merging an old, antiquated, possibly, if you want to call it that, system and bringing it to the new age and blockchain. Now, I'm not, or I haven't been a big proponent of cryptos or blockchain backed precious metals, or I should say precious metals backed by a blockchain token. So I guess my question to you is, with what you're offering at CleanGold, I guess we can get into that. You're offering what at CleanGold?
So what we're actually doing here is we're doing mine financing. The mine is operational. It's out of Western Australia, which is one of the richest gold fields in the world. So let me tell you a bit of history here, how I got into this, because I probably just gave you my background on blockchain and crypto and tech.
Right.
How did this sort of switch over? I began talking about how I saw the value proposition that people would have more trust in an asset that they understood, gold. And so I began building out a gold platform in the last year that was going to connect up with essentially with gold vaults. And so through an API, putting that on the blockchain. Yeah, makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then just as we're ready to go in March, COVID hits. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the supply chains around the world get massively impacted, including for precious metals. And what that really meant was the three biggest gold refineries in the world out of Switzerland, they stopped operating. And obviously flights did as well. And so there was this huge issue in movements of gold, the refining process, all of that. And so when I was talking to the gold dealers, I was saying, well, can we have delivery? Can you guarantee? And they were like, oh, there's delays and we should be able to get you the gold. Can you imagine me hearing that when I'm about to launch a gold-backed token?
Right,
you know?
Right.
That was a concern. So then I was like, okay, we need to pivot here. What do we do? And then in April, that's when I went looking. That's when I found this mining operation out of Western Australia near Perth. And so what they had was a really innovative approach where they had this clean mining technology, and they wanted to tokenize it for the gold that they were extracting and mining, and use that process of the tokenization to basically speed up the mining process. So it was going to be the funding that was going to supercharge and get the mining happening faster. It's already underway. So that's really what we've got here. What we've decided to do is, as the mining happens, it's going to be, as the gold is extracted, it'll be a 1-for-1 token per gram. So most of the world markets, the gold markets in the world, they actually price gold per ounce, as I'm sure you know, and it's getting pretty close to $2,000. It's just shy of that right now. Mm-hmm. And but that's kind of like, we thought, well, let's bring it back to another unit that might seem a bit more within somebody's reach, and that's per gram. And then it just so happened, obviously, with everything that's been going down, so while we've been building this and getting it ready, so it's taken all these months to get it together, we're seeing, the supply chain of gold go down, basically get crunched, and the price, really moving up. So it seems to be the right timing for people, because people might have felt that they've missed the boat. Maybe gold has gone up too much. And here, because of the mine financing that we're doing, we're giving people a discount because there's already enough margin here because of the mining operation. We're actually going directly to the source. And just on that point, the clean mining technology that we're using actually produces a higher yield for a lower cost. And you can get all this info in the white paper that we've got there. We've got a couple of versions, just a 6-page overview, a 30-page, medium, and a 67-page that goes right into the clean technology that was actually developed by the leading government science body out of Australia called the CSIRO. And this is patented technology that's been taken on to basically produce toxic-free mining. And
yeah, John Cruz, who introduced us, that's my guy. I didn't even know this about gold, that the amount of pollution that an ounce of gold. Can you give me that stat? He ran it off to me, and I forgot what he said, but it blew me back.
Well, basically, one of the most common objects that somebody's got, often in their hand, literally, or on their hand, is a gold ring, yeah? Like a gold wedding ring.
Right.
20 tons of waste per ring.
Wow.
And so this is cyanide and mercury, and the impact to communities, to the people who are doing the mining, let alone the environmental impact, it's huge, man. And so it's really has a big impact environmentally on people's health, on the miners who are on the ground there doing that. So we really need to clean this up. And so this is an operation that's going to start to actually move a whole industry. And I think that's really exciting.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you watch YouTube. I'm a YouTube head. I don't even have cable or anything like that. I only watch YouTube. And I see these documentaries by, I think, DW, and they do these documentaries about various things, but one was on the waste, the toxic waste that occurs from like oil mining, from gold mining, and these individuals in these small villages are like having these health issues because of this. So it's interesting that you guys are doing that. And how does this whole technology actually work?
Well, so basically what normally happens is that they often use mercury to basically go in there, and the gold gets sort of drawn to the mercury, and then they basically are able to burn off the mercury, which creates an incredible amount of pollution. Here, we're not doing that. So basically it's not quite a nanotechnology, but they're able to basically go in there and use a totally different solution, which is all written up on in the documentation there, that basically is able to bind it, and from that we're able to get a much higher yield of the gold and produce it. So basically we're using it's basically starts off as dirt, or you wouldn't even be able to see the gold. It's like these tiny particles. But through this process, we're basically able to harvest the gold out of that.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. So what would be your elevator pitch to my audience today, as far as why they should check out CleanGold, what the whole initiative is for individuals getting, because it's a pre-sale right now, am I correct? So kind of just walk us through that whole thing and how they can sign up. I'll leave a link in the description below, guys, if you're interested, but just explain to them what they're doing if they sign up and purchase, and the discount, and just walk us through the whole thing.
Great. So what you do is you just go to cleangold.io. There's a button up the top that says create an account. You just click that and you fill out your name, your email address, your password. Select the country where you're from, who you heard about this from. So you can type in crypto blood there. And then you press submit. That takes you in, and now you're creating an account. And the minimum purchase here, it is $1,000 US. And we are, to be compliant, we're needing you to basically tick a box and confirm that you're a sophisticated investor. And then you do your KYC. So then you upload a proof of identity. So this is all above board. So that's how you onboard. And then after that, well, you can buy essentially the gold tokens. These are gold-backed digital certificates that we're issuing. And once the mining is underway, so this is going to basically finance the mining operation such that next year, when the gold is above ground, you can have redemption. As you were saying, you have a couple of options here. You can get the gold in your hand delivered to you, because we're working with Molka Amit. And so you can look those guys up. They're one of the largest gold logistics companies in the world. And so they're going to be involved in the vaulting and the delivery. So we've got some incredible partners here behind this operation. So the mine, basically there's not only one mine, we've actually got 4 mines, and others are going to be purchased. So this is a huge operation that's just getting started now. So that's what you're getting in on. You basically, normally the average person doesn't get exposure to this kind of deal of getting in on the mining process and getting the uptake. So that's where you're getting the discount here. That's what we're doing. So we're offering you a discount. You're able to get in on actually having the gold, where in the supply chain issues, when you're talking to a gold dealer and they're telling you, yeah, there's some delays on delivery, and we're gonna get it for you. Can you be sure that you're actually getting the gold? That's one of the concerns that a lot of people have had, especially when you research into it. So here we're going direct to the mine. You're getting your 1-to-1 each digital certificate token for the gold. It can be delivered. You're getting a discount. You're changing an industry, moving it to a clean technology through the clean mining to get your clean gold. And from that, basically this is on an ERC20. So you'll be able to hold it in your wallet, like MetaMask, MyEther wallet, etc. Because what you're really buying here, unlike other tokens, this is like got a real asset behind it that you're going to have redemption on, and you can also have the flexibility of holding it in your wallet. And then, well, we're not going to go out there telling everybody what you can do with that, because we don't want to attract too much attention, Jerry, but maybe you could even just imagine yourself where this could go if you can buy gold directly, hold it in your digital wallet, and we're connected up to exchanges, DEXs, basically. Yep. Can you imagine what you could start to do with this?
Yeah. So is that going to be an option in the future where you can, like in the dashboard, are you able to purchase these tokens, and once you're up and running, I can move those ERC20 tokens off of the dashboard? Can I do that?
Correct. This is going to be basically, at the moment, it's in the dashboard. Basically, once you're verified, you're going to have the tokens, man. It's going to basically, we're going to issue them. Like, this is a pre-sale at the moment. We're just going to get the first group of people in. Then we're going to issue them to you. So you'll hold them in your wallet. Obviously, you'll have your own private keys with that. But as I said, you'll be whitelisted. So all somebody needs to do is they just follow those steps. They come to the CleanGold.io, click on the create the account, which takes them to buy.cleangold.io. They register, they fill in their details, put in who they heard it from, Crypto Blood. They come in, they just confirm that they're a sophisticated investor or that they deal with gold. They do their KYC, and then they have to put in your Ethereum address so we know where to send it.
When round one ends, let's say I procrastinate, I blow it off, and round two starts. What happens? Is it less of a discount or what? What happens there?
Yeah, so we're basically the people who are coming in first, they're going to get the biggest discount. And actually, the more you put in, we're able to give you like a little bit more of a discount there as well. So it's the early adopters, and that we want to reward you guys essentially. And so you can do the calculation here. You can type in however much you want. Like essentially, you just type in the number there, and that shows you what kind of discount you're getting.
So you save 60 if you buy 1,000 grams of this clean gold. You're saving $6,700, almost $6,800. Wow.
And right now, you try buying gold. You actually just try buying gold anywhere. That's one thing, and you're going to be paying a premium on top of it. So people are actually charging more for gold, and you really want to quiz them. Am I really getting it, or is this like some ETF, or is it a paper asset, like et cetera? Like, so now there's a premium on top of gold because institutional buyers are really stepping in. They're really buying it up. We want to bring this to the people to basically give you exposure to this. So just in case anything happens, I mean, I don't want to be a prophet around what's going to be happening with the economies of the world, but I'm sure all of us can see that, something's up. Yeah. And, there could come a time when actually having some gold could be really useful.
Yeah. So if I decide not to redeem my tokens once the mine is up and running, what happens?
It goes in the vault.
Okay. So
now you've got the gold. You've either got the digital asset or you've got the physical asset, and it'll be in the vaults. And then basically, so you can move it, trade it. You can do any of these things that you would be able to do with a digital asset.
Wow, this is pretty neat, man. Glad John introduced us, and we'll definitely be in touch. Any last words for today?
I'm just grateful to be on the show here with you, Jerry. Thanks so much for having me and for sharing this. So because I think it's going to be a real boon for people that they can come in here, and the main thing is that we want to make gold easy and accessible and positive for the world, making a difference here, cleaning up the world. And so that's the message we want to bring to people.
Nice.